Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. My name's Nick, and today, we're going to see what's left in the garden patch after the extreme weather we've been having. So let's get started. Okay, so we are in zone 9A, and we're very accustomed to having mild weathers, but this winter I don't understand. We've had a crazy summer and we've had a crazy winter, because this winter we got to -6. That is ridiculous for us. Like, us having a couple of flakes of snow is like right to your relatives shocking, right? The world screeches to a halt when we get a couple of flakes. So -6, I know that some of you guys are going to be like, -6? That's bikini weather, but not for us. -6 is like very, very like shockingly cold. So when it dropped down to -6, I just don't think my potatoes had it in them, bless them. Normally in a bed this size, I'm pulling out at least 20 kilos worth of potatoes, but this time, I don't know, guys. I don't even think I got like 2 kilos of potatoes. Why? Because most of the potatoes that I was pulling out were squishy. Yeah, like the sort of yuck squishy. They had the same texture as like rotten potatoes, but they weren't rotten. They were very, very cold. Where they'd frozen and then defrosted. I know. And I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you mulch? Well, that is a very good question. I've been growing in this way for years, and I've kind of got to the point where I'm kind of stuck in my ways a little bit, which is not good. But I tell you, from now on, I've been burnt once, and I'll be mulchy. I'll probably just pull them up and leave them. The thing is as they are in the ground and it is very cold, they store better in the ground than they do in my kitchen. So it is very tempting to leave them in the ground. As you can tell, even the ones that I'm picking out that are good, they are not even sprouting. Why? Because it's cold. Even though I told you it's very warm for this time of year, it's still too cold for them to be sprouting. So that means that they store incredibly well. I have read that back in the day, and I mean this is like World War II time, that they used to make, I'm not too sure what the name is, but they used to basically dig a hole, put root vegetables in, and then cover it with hay, and then cover it with soil. And they used to do that to store vegetables. And I'm actually quite tempted to try in that one year, because obviously we don't have the benefits from having a root cellar, which honestly, if you've got a root cellar, I'm incredibly jealous and I would love to have one. But I thought that it might be a really cool idea, but it does take up a lot of the earth over the allotment basically for the winter growing, and I'm quite excited about growing over this winter. As you know, we've probably got about between 6 and 12 million peas currently growing in the allotment. I'm very excited about the ability of perhaps one day possibly having my freezer full of my own delicious peas. I'm really excited about that. I'm even like thinking about canning some of the peas to have like for like, an emergency situation where you need peas really quickly and you're like, oh my goodness, I need peas. Ba-bum, I have peas. It seems really exciting to me. This is the first harvest of the season. I refuse to look at this as a negative, because yes, did I get very many potatoes? No, I didn't get very many potatoes. Did I learn something from this experience? Yes, I did. -6 and potatoes don't like each other. So I will make sure that next time I will mulch heavily. However, there's not very much I can do about it, but I can smile and I can say, oh, I learned something, because I know that I have a lot of potatoes stored up in storage. Now, I can't tell you that we eat potatoes every day, because we don't. To be fair, there's only 3 of us in our family, and there's only one person that loves potatoes. So although that person is very valued and all of that sort of jazz, they are not going to be starving without potatoes, because I've put up, I think it was about 100 kilos of potatoes from this growing season. We're most of the way through. We've not got very long left of potatoes needing to be stored. So I've already got buckets of potatoes literally in my house, waiting and raring to go. So it's not the end of the day. I even made my own smash. I know. If you're like me, you're thinking, wow, that's really cool. Yes, I think so. And it was an experience using it for the first time. An experience that is nice, but it had, I don't know, guys, have you ever made your own smash? It had like a really weird texture to it. I can't explain it any other. It tasted really nice, but it had a very weird, like gluish texture to it. I can't explain it any different. Anyway, some of these potatoes were good and I did keep those, but some of them weren't. I did notice on this side I didn't really have very many issues with mice on my potatoes, whereas on the other side of the allotment I did, which I found very interesting. Perhaps is because I put these in slightly later. Or perhaps because they were overthrown with weeds continuously and stinging nettles, the mice didn't see them. As you can see, look, squish, 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 yuck. Some of these potatoes were just absolutely sopping, and I was a little bit miffed about it. And like I said, look at that, yuck. But that would have been a lovely potato as well, wouldn't it? I know what you're thinking, yum, 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 that does look yummy. But thinking about it, that would have made a nice potato if it wasn't for the fact that it was a liquefied mess. And the thing is lots of these potatoes, you were kind of digging them up, and as you dug them up, they just disintegrated because they were like a membrane that surrounded a liquid. So they were just popping like water balloons and just squishing, as you can see in here. I'm picking some of them up just to demonstrate to you that they were very, very squishy, and lots of them were just falling to pieces and just weren't anything that I was able to kind of keep or consider in any way taking home. Some of them were all right though, and I did go at home and I did cure them, and they'll be fantastic for any of your potato needs. However, the ones that are squishy, I don't think there's any rescuing in them. Have I learnt something? Yes. Am I going to do it this way again? Probably yes, because that weather that we had it's just not normal for us. Like I said, we're very mild climate here, so it isn't something that we are normally having. Now, I normally do my potatoes no dig. These ones I did put into the soil. I like trying new things, okay? And I do like to have different experiences for each one of my beds and see what works best for me. I do think it's really important to try new things and try new ways of gardening. I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm kind of just stuck in my own ways and don't want to try something new. I just think it's absolutely fascinating trying all different methods. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep this a digging bed or a no digging bed. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to probably be a root bed again next year. Why? Why would you not rotate? And the reason that is because this also has artichokes in it, and if you've ever grown artichokes, wellity, they're there forever. You know that. You know it. Why? Because they say stuff on the packet as in drought resistant, and they say things like disease resistant, which is code for that's going to be there forever. So as I said, I spent the afternoon, do you know, I actually quite like digging. I was thinking to myself, like, it's quite rewarding really, and I dug and I dug and I dug and I dug. You can see some of the squishy potatoes that are just kind of like littering everything. Oh, that's never good when one just breaks into pieces when you pick it up. Oh, that's grim. But you can see that there was a lot of issues with the potatoes, you know, when it comes to digging them up. If they're squishy and disgusting, I don't want them to sort of be in the in the storage with all my other potatoes. Why? Because they're going to cause issues. They're going to cause rot, which is going to be a big issue. I don't want anything in my storage that I just can't rely on, because one potato goes bad, all of the bag goes bad. We've all had that experience where you've reached in to the pack of potatoes probably in very late spring and you felt one of those potatoes and they've just squished anywhere. These were just like, they were just, you can see for yourself, they weren't fantastic. They were just falling apart and they were just really gross and squishy. So there's no point of keeping them. They'll rot down. I mean, they were basically rotten anyway. So the next thing I was going to harvest is, all is not lost. All is not lost, guys. All is not lost. I had my artichokes, didn't I, in the same bed. Like I said, artichokes are one of those things that just rewarding to dig up, because look at all of them beautiful artichokes. They weren't damaged by the frost. Why? Because I really do believe that if you took an artichoke, just like a tardigrade, and you put it on the outside of the space station, it probably would start sprouting, because these things are just like bomb proof. I think that if you have a black thumb, you could go ahead and grow impressively large artichokes. My nan used to grow artichokes. That's why I grow artichokes, by the way. But Nanny, she grew artichokes, and she grew them in between the fence and the shed. They didn't get any sun. I don't think there was any soil there, actually. It was just rocks. She grew lovely artichokes there. And when I started, I was like, I want to grow artichokes. So I started, you do the thing where you do the research in the artichoke, and it was saying stuff like, you need well-drained soil. Yeah, of course, it's a root vegetable. And then it was like, you need to fertilise them. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that they would grow in concrete. At this point in time, I'm pretty sure they would. And I mean, look, they have gone ahead. They've gone ahead and survived a drought. They've gone ahead and thrived in -6 weather, in rain, come shine. They're just really rewarding things to grow. But they do have a reputation. And if you've not heard of the reputation, this is because they have something called inulin in. Yep, inulin. And the issue with inulin is, well, it's very good for you. It's like a probiotic for your gut. It feeds the beneficial bacteria. But the issue is when you don't really have very much of that in your diet, they're called the fartichoke for a reason. I wouldn't recommend eating a whole bowl of them and then going out anywhere in public, because they have a reputation for a reason. But if you eat them in small amounts over a long period of time, they don't have that effect, because your gut bacteria builds up. Now, they don't spike your blood sugar, so they're super good for diabetics. They help you increase the absorption of calcium in your body. They are so incredibly good for you. They are literally really incredibly good. Now, I've heard that apparently, I don't know how well true this is, but if you eat artichokes and you kind of like scrub all of the dirt off of them as best you can, and you eat them with the skin on raw, it's meant to help you build up that gut bacteria. But I don't know if that's true or not. I do know that if you eat some soil bacteria in your own garden, it's meant to be good for you. A little bit of dirt's always been considered good. But just to let you know that if you went ahead and you ate a load of these artichokes, just like you went from 0 to hero, you'd probably ride to the moon. So just be aware of that, okay, guys? Now, there is another thing you need to know, that these are easy to grow. They are drought resistant, they're heat resistant, they're everything resistant, as in you will never get them out of your garden. Plants, I just want you to know that you plant them, they are invasive, they will spread, they will be your forever. Think of your garden as their forever home. That's why this bed has a border to it. Why? Because when them sun-choky, lovely things are going to be putting their little tendrils out, I'm going to say, no, get back in the bed. Because they do have an issue with that. Now, they are lovely. They do produce really great bulbs, and I will be fertilising them just a little bit, because I like the bigger bulbs, but they do spread. So just be careful. I wouldn't go ahead and say to yourself, right, in the future I want X amount of sunchokes, so I'm going to plant them all in one day, because you will be getting them forever and a day. Now, it is great to give these to friends and stuff like that. Just give them the warning that they will still come up. It doesn't matter if one day you say to yourself, look, I don't like sunchokes or artichokes anymore and I want to get rid of them. You have them forever. They are forever. So they are a commitment. So try them before you start. Now, I personally find the artichokes, they look lovely, okay? And I generally think that they are very attractive plants. If you like sunflowers, you'll like the way that these particularly look. And they are very easy to grow, like I said. So it is really, really, really good to sort of get them into the garden as like a starter plant, especially if you've got a black thumb. It is a great thing to do. Just bear in mind that you are placing them in their forever home. Okay, so as you can see here, I am actually continuing doing beds, and I know what you're thinking. Wow, you have more beds to do. I feel like this is my every waking moment at the moment, but to be honest, once it's done, I'll be so thankful, because this is going to give me such a head start in the spring. Oh my days, I'm going to be so thankful to myself for when this is done, and I'll be really happy. But I am making sure that every time I come down the allotment, basically I'm doing at least one bed minimum. I'm doing one bed minimum. This is going to be my squash bed, and I really like squash, so it's what motivates me. I'm also trying to only come down to beds when it's raining and miserable. That is like my primary focus here. I'm trying to get as much rainfall on my head as possible. No, I'm joking. It's winter, it's raining all the time. So every time that you see me and I'm wet all the way through, just know it's probably a different day. It's just raining every day at the moment. Which is good, because it's really watering in the beds, which we like, which is great. I've only got a little bit left to harvest. I haven't harvested all my sunchokes, so I'm going to probably come down. Once I've run out of them, I'll be coming down once a week or so, collecting some more. Because, like I said, I just want to make sure that they stay nice and crisp, and there's no reason not to keep them in that bed. They're not being hurt by any of the cold weather. If you like this video, by the way, please go ahead and do a thumbs up. And if you've got this far in the video, consider subscribing. I mean, you're already here. It's either that you've left me on the side and walked off, or you've actually quite liked it. Maybe you think I'm funny. I know no one does. No, some people think I'm funny. I've got it in writing. No, if you do, please go ahead and click subscribe. It means everything. And by the time you've seen this video, guys, I just wanted to let you know that we are currently at 60,000 views. That is ridiculous. I'm so grateful and humbled. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.